So today we'll be basically learning about the Planning Commission as well as the NITI Aayog. See guys, some of you were asking me, Pawan, just don't put up the PPT, even show us from where you're getting the materials and resources. What I can suggest is that, for example, if you are taking up any kind of governance ka topic, there are many free sites, okay, like Byju's, or if you're learning about NITI Aayog itself, you can go to NITI Aayog ka website itself and learn. Now, why I'm not going to NITI Aayog ka website? Because I don't want to make it little more like jargon words. So I want to make it very much simplified for you. So I'm using this one. Byju's cutting. You can also get like Vision IAS, Vajiram ka institution ka many materials are there. No, you can even refer that. It's up to your decision, your discretion on which you want, which you do not want it. Now let's understand about what is the importance of NITI Aayog and Planning Commission. What I'll do is that I'll just put a material, I'll just explain this, and in the description if you want, I'll just put this link also over there, or else also no problem. Just type in Google as difference between NITI Aayog and Planning Commission by choose. After I explain, once you understand the concept, you try to learn, no, it'll go very deep inside your subconscious mind. Yeah, trust me, you will not regret later. Okay, let's start understanding about the difference between NITI Aayog and Planning Commission. The difference between NITI Aayog and Planning Commission are explained over here. See, first of all, the NITI Aayog is a National Institute for Transforming India. Is a policy think tank established on 1st January 2015 by the Government of India. I think, yes, it is not I think, it is basically by the BJP government. 2015, if I'm not wrong, it was actually the BJP government who had introduced this. NITI Aayog. What is the NITI Aayog ka full form? It's about National Institution for Transforming India. When was it introduced? It was brought in 2015. Mein. Now, along with it, what you need to know is that in our NITI Aayog itself, they are trying to emphasize very deep that before that, what did we have? We had this something called as Planning Commission. It was basically set in that name. The Planning Commission was formed on 15th March 1950 when after independence, immediately it was bought 1950 and dissolved in 17th August 2014. Planning Commission of India forfeited for 5 years plans in India. Very simple. So first we had what? We had Planning Commission. That was from when? 1950 to 2014. So from 2014, what happened? 2014, that's like from 2015 until today, we have NITI Aayog. NITI Aayog is called as what? National Institution for Transforming India. Now, if you want to know what is the difference or what is the important components of NITI Aayog or Planning Commission, once you learn the difference itself, will go deep inside your mind. Yeah, nothing extra complicated. You need to understand. Now, what is this NITI Aayog? NITI Aayog has not been given the mandate or powers to impose policies on states. NITI Aayog is basically a think tank for an advisory body. Now understand that NITI Aayog is what? NITI Aayog is something about, it is a mandate or powers to impose. It doesn't have powers to impose any kind of policies. It cannot tell that this is a policy needs to be implemented. This needs to be done. No, NITI Aayog does not have power for it. It is basically like an advisory body, like a think tank. We have an advisory body. अगर एक प्राइम मिनिस्टर है, we require advisors, no? For example, if I am the king, I require advisors. Similar way, it's like an advisory body. Now, what is this Planning Commission? The Planning Commission had the power to impose policies on states and for the projects approved by the Planning Commission. Now, Planning Commission had complete powers for imposing finances and all. Like they had powers to impose policies. They had even projects approved by Planning Commission. But NITI Aayog of funding and all, like all that, they have to depend with the Finance Ministry, especially Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Like from them, they should go on. Mrs. Like ma'am, Nirmala Sitharaman, ma'am, we have to even take from her consent. But over here, Planning Commission didn't have such kind of thing. They could allocate their funds as they wanted. Now, NITI Aayog the powers for allocation of the funds have not been given to the NITI Aayog. The powers are with the Finance Ministry. Correct, right? I already said about Finance Ministry. Who had the control of the funds under NITI Aayog? It was by the Finance Ministry. Whereas the Planning Commission had the power to allocate funds to the state government and the various central government ministers for various programs and the projects for the national and state level. So Planning Commission. Now I'm telling you before, okay, I'm taking you back around like what happened from 1950 to 2014. Their Planning Commission had complete powers for regulating policies, for putting funds for the state government, central government, for any kind of their planning projects they used to do all that. Now, in NITI Aayog, state governments have to play a more proactive role. NITI Aayog, what happened? State government should take into little more important role, whereas in Planning Commission, it is very much different though. Yeah, Planning Commission, it was very difficult though. That was a call though. I am back with this one. Okay, I've just put my call into silent mode. Now, coming back, in NITI Aayog, the state government have to play a proactive role. Whereas in the Planning Commission, what happened? The state governments did not have much role to play a part from taking part in the meetings. The state government's role was confined to the National Development Council. That means that in the planning commission, the state government didn't have much kind of powers. State government did not have much kind of powers where they didn't have much kind of powers, whereas in Niti Aayog, they're giving much power for the state government. Now, based on the requirements, there are part-time members appointed by the Niti Aayog. So there it was, part-time members can be appointed in Niti Aayog, whereas in planning commission, full-time members was basically appointed. Now, the governing council for Niti Aayog has a lieutenant governor of the union territories and the state chief ministers. So in Niti Aayog, who consisted of, it even consisted part-time members, it even consisted of lieutenant governor and even the state chief ministers. Whereas the National Development Council had lieutenant governors and state chief ministers. Okay. Whereas in National Development Council, that's like before, Planning Commission, we had lieutenant governors, state chief ministers, but Planning Commission had to report to the National Development Commission. So they had to report to NDC, that is called National Development Commission. Don't confuse, yeah. In Niti Aayog, we have lieutenant governor. We had their consent was required. Whereas in Planning Commission also we had lieutenant governors. But what happened? What was the main objective here? They had to report to the NDC, but here it is not required. The CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, if I'm not wrong, that's the CEO. The CEO of Niti Aayog is appointed by the Prime Minister, and the secretaries are known as CEO. Okay, secretaries are also known as CEO. Now not CEO exactly. I'm just giving a layman terms of CEO, Chief Executive Officer. But yeah, it could be even other name too. But yeah, CEO of the Niti Aayog is basically appointed by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. The Planning Commission secretaries were appointed through the usual process. So the Planning Commission secretaries were appointed through the usual process. That's very important. But here CEO was appointed by whom? Prime Minister. The number of Yeah, it's almost done. Last four more points. The number of full-time members in Niti Aayog could be lesser than the numbers that the Planning Commission had. So Niti Aayog members, like the number of full-time members in Niti Aayog could be lesser than the Planning Commission. So lesser members they had in Niti Aayog, whereas in Planning Commission they had full-time members. So there was the council itself was big. Under Niti Aayog, organization structure, new posts were created. CEO, vice chairperson. CEO has a rank of secretary. Now I'm just telling the portfolios which they are. They had CEO, vice chairperson, and four cabinet members would serve as a ex officio members. Niti Aayog has two part-time members and five full-time members. So they have two part-time, five full-time members. They have a chairman, they have a CEO, they have a vice chairperson, they have a secretary. Whereas in Planning Commission, it had full-time members and member secretary and a deputy chairperson also they had. Now, in Niti Aayog, the final policy would bear fruit after due consultations are held with the state government. So whatever comes under Niti Aayog, there must be a approval by the state government. Whereas the Planning Commission first formulated the policies and state governments were consulted regarding the allocation of the funds for the programs. Here also state government's approval is taken, but in Niti Aayog, if you observe, the final policy would bear the fruits after the due consultations are held with the state governments. Now, so during the process itself, the Niti Aayog take the consideration of the state government, whereas in Planning Commission, that was not the regularity. Now, Niti Aayog is also an executive body, as it is not mentioned in the Constitution of India, and it is not established by an act of Parliament. However, if needed, it can be converted into statutory body. Now, listen carefully. The Niti Aayog is also an executive body, and it is not mentioned in Constitution. See, under Constitution, nowhere it is mentioned about stat. It is nowhere in Constitution. Nowhere, if you open the Constitution ka book, you will find nowhere in this book that there is an existence of what? There is an existence of executive body. I'm like that about the body of Niti Aayog. Whereas it can be later bought into an act. It was just bought into by a parliament. So parliament can also introduce these bodies, right? Not only that, if some are mentioned by the constitution, I agree with it. Whereas some are not mentioned in the constitution. And Niti Aayog is one such thing. However, if needed, it can also be converted into a statutory body by passing a law in the parliament. Now, Niti Aayog can become a statutory body in case if it is passed a law in the parliament. Now, if you observe here in the Planning Commission, if I just quickly tell, especially in this particular part, the now defunct Planning Commission was an executive body. That time it was an executive body, but it was like an executive body. But Niti Aayog, it is not nowhere mentioned in the constitution. Never make up that mistake of writing that in the exam. Constitutional body, just tell that it can be converted into a statutory body by passing it a law in the parliament. Example like UIDA, like that. So I hope you guys got some kind of clarity regarding it. I hope some essence have been cleared for you guys about this Planning Commission. So, guys, before I conclude, I have already given some kind of confidence about what is the difference between Niti Aayog and Planning Commission. Purposely, I did it, yeah. I didn't tell Niti Aayog first what is exactly like a Niti Aayog. Why? Because once you understand the difference, you'll be able to tell what exactly is the components of Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is nothing but national, you know the full form, what exactly it is about. But Niti Aayog basically speaks about making policy making process and all. Niti Aayog helps a lot. Policy making process. You can write in exam. Point number one, policy making process. Point number two, economic development. They provide suggestions, rules, regulations. What kind of suggestions could be implemented? How we can emphasize it? How we can develop it? That's what mainly provided by Niti Aayog. And along with it, agriculture reforms. हमारा agriculture में what all kind of reforms we can introduce. All this is basically provided by Niti Aayog. Yeah. Even how our existence of our country can be made better in terms of infrastructure. Even such kind of suggestions are also being proposed by Niti Aayog. I hope you guys got some kind of clarity regarding Niti Aayog. That's majorly about it. Yeah. Niti Aayog, if you understand, no, for your exam perspective or for your general understanding, in an exam perspective, if you're writing in a paper, mention what is Niti Aayog first. It can help in terms of Niti Aayog is also called as think tank, or you just mention the full form of Niti Aayog. Okay, and then try to mention what is it advantage for policy making process, economic development, then agriculture reforms. Then you can just tell that when Niti Aayog came to an existence, 2015. Before, what was it? Planning Commission. You can tell about Niti Aayog, like its state government suggestions are basically taken up. In Niti Aayog, so and so components are there, and it is basically how many members are components, who appoints you, all that you can mention. So guys, that's all for today. Yeah. Hope you liked it. If you do like it, please do like, share, subscribe, and do let me know what kind of comments or what kind of content should I upload more on it so that I could help you a lot. That's all for today, guys. Take care. Wishing you all the best. Good luck. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.